Hi, this is Annie Cardone, published author, motivational speaker, and mental health teacher trainer. And I have a question for you. How often do you use the word, I'm tired? Now, I know for me, this phrase became quite the habit, especially as I got into my 50s. It became my go-to excuse and justification for pretty much everything. And the truth was, I was absolutely exhausted. And I found that, yes, to some degree, because my compromised endocrine system, this is what happens in menopause, our hormones deplete and we find ourselves pretty tired. But here's what I didn't realize, and here's what I want to share with you. The main reason I was tired, exhausted, overwhelmed, stressed, anxious was not anything to do with what I was doing for myself. It was actually what I was killing myself doing for everybody else. Now, I don't know if you relate to this, but I grew up in a household where I had a diabetic father. My mother left home when I was very young. There were 4 children at home, and my father, unfortunately, was very erratic, very violent, and had some mental health problems. He was on lithium for a lot of his life, and it did not bode well, and part of the reason my mother left. Now, I was trained, brainwashed if you like, into making sure my father was happy. So that meant feeding him every 4 hours, making sure he's okay, doing all the housework. There wasn't much time for play, and it was a very abusive, violent childhood. And it trained me to look after him. And I went through my life trained to look after everybody else to keep myself safe. Now, you may not have such an extreme story, but I think for many women, we are trained and we are innate nurturers, caregivers, and we love looking after people. We get a lot from that. But what if we don't check that ever? What if we then go on from our childhood to taking care of people all around us, our families, our siblings, our relationships, our husbands, our boyfriends, our partners, our parents? I mean, it is an endless life for a lot of women of prioritizing everybody else but themselves. And I say trained because it is actually something that is innate in society, that we take that role. Now, I've had a very successful career as well. However, I honestly feel I went from looking after my father to looking after husbands to looking after family to now looking after my father before he died to now looking after my mother and my siblings to looking after my sister before she died. And I feel like I have spent my life looking after people. And so what I would start to do was say, I'm tired. And the truth of the matter was, I was tired of not doing what I wanted. I was tired of not doing what I loved. I was tired of spending my finances on everybody else but investing in myself. I was tired of not living my dreams and goals and yet pushing everybody else to get theirs. And I actually did it to myself. I was like a hamster on a wheel. And a friend actually laughed and said to me one day, she said, if you ever get into another relationship and offer to build them a website, do their marketing and build their business, I will literally, I won't be able to cope anymore, because that was my pattern. I was literally trained. If they're okay, I'm safe. If they're successful, I'm okay. It was endless. And it's something that I had to stop. I had to catch myself and stop myself doing. And it's something I had to deprogram from. And no amount of talking to people, and this is the thing, we think that if we talk to our friends and we talk to our family and we talk to a therapist and we talk to everybody, that's going to fix the problem. But actually, why would our friends, family, boyfriends, husbands, whoever, children, whoever we're looking after, why would they want us to change? Why on earth would they help us stop taking care of them? That's not going to happen. You just weren't talking to the right people. So I challenge you. If I gave you £1 million today, how tired would you feel? If I told you that everyone else is responsible for themselves, which they are to a degree, and that your life is yours, that you are free to create a life that you want, that you are free to be, do, or have anything that you want. And if I said to you, tell me a problem that you haven't solved, you would actually find that you look back and you have solved every problem you've had. And on top of that, you have solved problems for everybody else around you. So after I went through menopause, after I wrote my book, after I did all my training to be a teacher, a mental health teacher training, I decided it was time for me. And what was my absolute dream? What had I wanted all these years? What did I really, really want? I wanted to help people, yes, but something was bigger than that. I wanted to be a motivational speaker. And to even say those words, I would hear them in my head and it would sound ridiculous. And immediately that I said them, these voices would say, don't be so ridiculous. No, people are going to laugh at you. You could never do something like that. You're nervous being visible. You're nervous in front of a camera. And this is a girl who modeled her whole life. Yeah, I was great in front of a camera. It's getting in front of people that was my problem. And so I decided to go on a journey, and I decided to change my life, and I took action. And what I'm going to be doing for the next few weeks, few months, is working on myself in achieving that goal. And I'm really excited to share my journey with you. It's going to be incredible. I have some amazing teachers and instructors that are there to support me. I don't know if you've heard of Andy Harrington, but I've been following him for about 4 years now, and his team. And it was always just out of my grasp. There was always a justification. There was always a reason. And I tell you something, when you actually go for what you want, you'll find that you're not tired. You're just tired of living everybody else's dream and helping them get there while you get left behind. So what is it you really want? Once you find that out, you'll be so inspired, so motivated, so uplifted, that I swear to you, you won't have enough hours in the day. You'll be so busy getting yourself to where you want to be. And that's what I want for you. That's what I'm doing for me. And I'm excited to share the journey, so stay tuned.